Hi there. In this quick video I'm going to modify the colors on these two 20mm fans. The story goes like this. First I bought this one because I thought it will actually fit my particular case. Let me just show you. Come on. Yeah, this is a pretty crappy box, pretty crappy everything. In my opinion, yeah. As you can see, even the packing is not too nice. Yeah, some stuff still falling out of there. It's a 20mm by 200mm BitFenix. Let me just show you the model. And this thing has green LEDs. Well, I kind of want to have green LEDs on the top fan of my case, but the problem is this thing does not line up with the case at all. This is not the one that I actually ordered. The one that I ordered had some kind of shroud all around with way more holes. It seems they don't really manufacture that one anymore. So I had two options: return this one and try to get something else, but I decided not to return it. So option 2 was buy this one, which comes with blue LEDs, which I honestly hate. Some people like them, but I don't like blue LEDs. I like green, red, whatever, not blue, white even. So my best option at this point is to swap the LEDs between these two fans, and these are at a similar price. So this is BitFenix Spectre, I don't know, whatever. Here are its specs. So 47 CFM at 700 RPM. This thing has, where is it? 110 CFM at 700 RPM. And this is 30mm thick. So yeah, this is way thicker. This is a way sturdier fan, but it is thicker and heavier and whatnot, but I do not really care about that. Noise below 20 decibels, well, the camera. This one 19 decibels. So I really don't have any disadvantage going with this fan because it will fit my case, absolutely no problem there. But there still is a problem. It's blue and I hate that. So I'm going to turn these two fans into one fan that I want to keep, and this one will have blue LEDs on it, and I will sell it with blue LEDs. Somebody might like that. I don't know who, I surely don't. And these things are at a quite similar price in my country, about let me try and open this thing up and we will continue from that. Be back in a moment. And it's out. So like I was saying, they are quite similarly priced. This one is about, I'm approximating here, $13, something like that, and this thing is $15. And please believe me, you get a way better fan by going for this Cooler Master. It's way sturdier. The motor in it is way bigger than in this one. So yeah, from this I will be using the LEDs, transplanting from one to the other, and then selling this thing because I have no need for it. These are the actual holes that I'm using. So as you can see, this one has more of them. This one in theory should have had them, but they don't make that model anymore, and the new one that they sent me although I ordered the older one, doesn't have them, so that is pretty crap, because these 20mm fans don't seem to have quite a good standard as older fans had. These are really varied, so that sucks, but what can you do? So let's get started. Let's give them a quick run. So this is the Cooler Master. Ignore the buzzing noise. It's from the fan of the PSU. This thing doesn't make noise at all. But there is something I don't like about it. Do you see it wobbling? So it's not perfectly balanced, and I will use rubber screws. They are not quite screws, they are some kind of attachment that I've seen used in a lot of brand computers, and I have a few of them, so this will not transmit into the case. Let me just turn off the light for a moment. It's nice, it's genuinely nice, but I want it to be green. Let's switch this off, and I cannot run both of them at the same time because only the Cooler Master comes with this adapter. So I will use the same adapter for the BitFenix. And let's see how are the green fans. Yeah, pretty nice also, I must admit. I think my camera will make them seem blue, but believe me, they are green. As for overall work, you can see this one wobbly also, so it seems big fans like this, the cheaper ones at least, are not very well balanced. Anyway, this seems to be moving a decent amount of air, so I don't think either this one is outputting as much as it says, or this one is outputting more than it says. Anyway, let's change the LEDs. That's what we are set here to do. As you can see, come on, stop. They are just glued in place with what some people like to refer to as hot snot. Or it's actually molded plastic from a hot glue gun. So that is quite simple to get out, because it's not actually a glue. So when you start to pry it out, it will come out. Now the only problem is that I would actually like to reuse the LEDs, so I'm going to try and be a bit gentle here. As much as I can. Let's get this out of the way. Let me try and zoom on that area. Yes, tripod squeaking as always. My older subscribers are quite familiar with this issue. Ta-da! First LED is out, and I will get the hot snot out of it. And we need to do the same thing with all the others. So let's do this in high speed, because yeah, it will take a while. Tiny bit of an issue. It seems Cooler Master did not use the hot snot stuff. They used some kind of silicone, but yeah, you can still get it out, and you can still break it away from the LED itself. So yeah, this one is better even in this respect. So let's continue in high speed. Just need to say, the BitFenix has way worse soldering. and no protection on the solder joints. Cooler master, better soldering, and as you can see, transparent protection. Honestly, this protection is not 100% needed, but it's a good thing to have, so you are sure you cannot short anything in there. So yeah, just want to add that while I'm changing these LEDs between these two fans, not all LEDs work at the same voltage. So in this case, normally I think green LEDs work at a lower voltage. So my LEDs, the green ones that I will put on this, might light up a bit more than the original blue ones. Not 100% sure, because in these days there are tons of different types of even LED, green LEDs. So yeah, but just take that into account. The ones that you put in place might not light up exactly as the old ones did. Okay, cleaned up the first LED. When soldering everything back up, you need to keep in mind this thing do have a polarity. So you can recognize the polarity of a LED. Let me just try and zoom on it to the max. Let me first show you in here. I don't know if you can really see it good, but the one that is really big inside of the LED, these are transparent, so that is easy to see, is the minus. Everywhere you search, that one, the big one, is the minus. So let's go into our tiny LED here and figure out which one is the minus. Are we... Oh, a bit too much. Yep, I think this is good enough. So the one at the left side is the minus. Weirdly enough, they decided to put a yellowish wire on the minus. Not sure why they did that. Anyway, for the other ones, it's the same, but this time it's at the right. So I need to keep this in mind when moving the LED from one fan to the other. So first I will unsolder the minus on this side, and to do this I have a really cheap soldering gun and some quite cheap solder, so you don't need any special tools, to say it like that. So come on, I will only show you this for the first LED, and then I will do it in high speed. So we know that we need to have the big metal part, the minus, onto this one, which is darker a bit. So that is good. Let's unsolder the other side also. This is down. And for this one we have a problem right there, because the wires are identical. So there is no way to tell which is which. But I do know that at the moment, on the wire that we are still connected to, we have soldered the big part of the LED. So it means on the one that is not soldered, we need to solder the small part. So that will be quite simple. And now we cannot get the polarity wrong. I will come and solder it to this one. I just need to get a bit more solder. Yeah, this is not really the proper way to solder. I learned it like this a bunch of years ago. I'm not going to change it. It works for me. Let's see if I can hold this LED somehow. Doesn't really want to stay in place, so I think I will use something to keep it in place. Be back in a second. Okay. Okay, I have this yellow stuff that acts a bit as a glue, but doesn't stain, and you can get it out very easily from anything. I think it's made by Uhu and it's called Patafix. So yeah, weird name for it, but does a beautiful job when you need to hold really small components in place. But it also comes off a bit easy at times, as you could see here. When I pulled on the wire, this thing actually came off. So let's stick it there once again, if we actually can, and try to glue our second wire. I'm getting some solder on my soldering gun. And this is it. First one of the LEDs is okay, and obviously I will do this exactly the same for the other three on this fan, but we also need to solder this one in place. But this having way longer leads on the LED, it's way easier to solder. Yep, that one is done. Also, I will not put them back in place until I do all of them and test, because I don't want to have any issues. Although I could actually test now just to make sure that my polarities are correct, so I don't do all of them in the wrong way. Let's power it on. Perfect polarity on the first one. Let's see the second one. But I'm ready to bet this is also okay. Yep, and it is also okay. And they light up about the same, so I think we are really good to go. So let's do all of them in high speed now. We are almost done. It's just a matter of gluing them back in place like they were originally. They are already pushed into their respective holes, and tested one last time to make sure everything is okay, and it is. And yeah, this thing is heating up. It will take a bit of time. Now it's starting to flow, so It is this type of glue that I'm going to use. You can see it right there, quite sticky. Okay, so let's do the one that we don't really like first, in case we mess something up. I don't have a problem messing that one up. Let's remove this one, the test, from there. Yep, and this is flowing already quite nicely. Okay, for the first one that I did, this just kind of needs to be filled in there, so it's not I don't know, an exact process. We just put a blob of hot glue as it was from the factory and be done with it. It just needs to keep the LED in place and the wires from moving around and breaking away. That's all that this glue is actually doing in there. BitFenix is cooling down. Now let's do the one that we actually like. Here it's a bit, I don't know, more interesting because it's a matter of just guessing how much glue it needs to be in this area, because there is nothing exact about this. In the BitFenix at least you would fill that channel up, but in here, yep, it's a bit of guesswork. Ta-da! And we are done. Every single LED is back in place. Let's give this a quick test. It's perfect in my opinion. Exactly what I wanted. Green LEDs on the good fan. Shut this one off. And power the other one. Even the connector is worse on this one. Ew. Blue LEDs on this one. Yep. Job here is completed. You can hear this one rubbing on the table. So don't mount it face down because you will get rubbing. And my wife and daughter having issues in the other room. That happens when you have a 1-year-old around. Yeah, ta-da! Finished, completed. So it can be done quite easily. Yeah, I could have done my best to find one of these with green LEDs. Yeah, had this one, swapped, all okay, and that's about it. I'm going to go to my wife now because, otherwise I will have problems. Too much tinkering for the day. So, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. In which case, please give it a like, check out my other videos, and as always, see you in the next one. Bye!